I wasn't ready to do a video, but as I was watching the video, when it ended, it came up Helio helicopters, machine gun, un, G gateway UN, ma, alternate current in love. In love means to go through. The arrow is the flesh. Flesh is an arrow in French. Love is to go through. This is the circle. This is how you cut one. But this is how one goes through. One and one, but one is through five. It's in the center. So the arrow has to be the center because it goes through five. One arrow goes to the center of five. I'm just going to jump around a little bit just to get these things out of my head. I've got to clear up the screen. Let me clear up the screen. Okay. We're going to go to this angle right here. Ace, king, queen, jack. These are 4 cards in the deck. There's only 9 cards left. This one stands for 1. This is the 11th letter. This is the 17th letter. This is the 10th letter. 10 and 11 is 21. 10 and 11 is 21 and 6 27 red. 17, 27, 37, 38, 39, the sky. And guess what? Red. Do you know what red is? Red, yellow, and green. Their differences. Green goes here, red goes here. Can you put green over here and red at the same time? No, you can't. Because if you're driving a car and you see a green light, you're going that way, you're stopping here. Automatically, red, green are 90 degrees towards each other, right? Unless you're cutting off in this direction, someone's still stopping at the light. 12, 9, 21, and 7, 28. 28, 28. This one gets a 0. Becomes 22, becomes 28, becomes 34. It equals DC red. D, diameter. C, circumference. DC 43 equals to 19, artificial intelligence between the top and the bottom. There's 2 levels that go through 5. There's 3 parts of 5. The center part gets cut in half. You can see it on the Del Mar sign down in San Diego. There's 3, then a dash, then over to Mars. So we know now that, if we want to know on where is Mars, well, Mars moved around from Toronto to New York. The slot Myers, there were 2 of them because it says her, Stottlemyre. Amare, he worked on his knee, K and N, 14 and 11. They're both aces. Why are they both aces? Because when you play poker, the ace is the 14th card. When you play when you play poker, the ace is the first card. When you play blackjack, the ace is the 11th card, and 11 is the highest number. And remember about 11. 11 is 1 and 1 is 2. So if you're playing Monopoly and you roll the dice and you get 1 and 1, 11, I'm sorry, 2 is not the smallest number. 2 is not the smallest number. The minimum is 5. The second minimum is 7. It's 2, 2, 3. Because on the third doubles, if you roll the third doubles, I'm sorry, but you're out of the game. You're in jail and you must roll the dice once, twice, 3 times until you get doubles to get out of jail. So when you roll 2, you roll again. If you roll another 2, you roll again. You roll another 2, you go to jail. 2, 2, 2 puts you in jail. Times 8, 1776. But 2 and 3 is 5. And that would be 10% of your mind. Is that not right? If you dice 5, you get on Reading Railroad, or you fall 1 before it if you're starting at nothing. I'm here, I roll 5, I go to 10% of my mind because it is the 5th position, but the 5th roll of the dice ends up to be on Reading. I was looking to the dark side of the womb, or the reality of truth of who is building in this world, because human beings do not build. It's not natural. We were created to build ourselves. Is it a safe world? Pineapple seems to be the word. Apple, PP, bring in the light of A, and bring in her light, L and E. L of the, it says. 5225. What is B? B is in the E family. It's the second letter. Add 5 for the E family, make it 7, which gives me the G gate. 5 is 1 notch down from B. B minus 5 would actually be minus 3. Would be BC. B one way, C the other way because of B. But since the E is after B, let's do it different. Everything starts in 101. In fact, I want to start it higher. Why do we start at 101? Because 12 is now in the middle of 2. It's a ruler. Start at 10, go backwards, add 2, becomes 12. Minus 5 becomes 7. B becomes 7 left and 7 right. Otherwise, B minus 5 from 2, starting at 2, we go down minus 3 or minus 7, depending which way you want to look at it. The same thing with C, D, and E. C is 63, D is 64, E is 65, because they're all in the circle of the E family. But D, E is the family of E, sounding off. D and E, 5 and 4, 9, under the sun. C and E, 5 and 3, electric company. B and E, 5 and 2, Earth beta, split, double Earth. I'm going to see if we can bring this in. F brings you to 11, E and F. But F also brings you to 1 because the E is before the F is the 6th letter. This would be 1 and 11. 2 aces inside F, 2 worlds, the split world. F, because it's between 2, F 0 becomes 6, 6 becomes 12, the ruler. 1 and 2 is 3. Remember, 1 and 2, 1 is in between 2, and there is no starting to the 7th gate until you get 4. 2 up and 2 down, not 1 in the center. 1 sets everything to be valued at a quarter. 2 is on the outside of a diameter. 180, this makes everything a quarter, which is 90. 270 total, 27. 27 is red. Remember, there's going to be 2 red lights for both sides of the traffic, 2 green lights. Red and red, 54 equaling to the sun. The other one is 98 equaling to the high sky. Why? Because green is 49, 49, 98. 98 is 17, 1 and 7 is 8. Red is 9. They become the same. 5 and 4 is 9. 2 and 7 is 9. Green is 49, but there's 2 greens. 49 and 49 is 9 and 8. That is the high sky. 4 is half. Superman, LeBron James, Cleveland, semen, and garlic. What does garlic do to semen? These are things I watched in the movies and they all made sense to me. We had doubles. Again, here's what I wrote down for doubles. And then the word all. LL is 12, 12. 2 rulers. 2 rulers, 2 suns, 12 and 12. We either bring it to 17 or we leave it at 12 because L is in the E family. 12 minus 5 equals to 7, the same thing as the B family, and L and B are both female. Queen, 17th letter is Q. 12th card is the queen. 12th card in blackjack does not actually exist. If you take all the picture cards and the 10 and you put it together, 10, jack, queen, king, you have 4 cards, 16 cards in the deck that go all together in blackjack. And when you play baccarat, they're all valued at 0. So the real answer in baccarat, when you're adding 1 to 9, equals to 45, and that's it. The total deck value is 45 without the accumulated pictures. You have 2 L's, you get 14, becomes 5. This becomes the 7th gateway, her 7th gateway. Numbers seen in Taurus. Let me move this camera over a little bit because I'm having trouble seeing. Numbers seen in Taurus. What is this idea I have? Let me explain it to you. Okay, when you see the purple, okay, these will all be red numbers. When you see the yellow, they will all be black, and this is how they fit in. Taurus sits with B on top. Taurus sits with D on top. Taurus sits with F on top. Taurus sits, so there's 4 Tauruses before there's an angled Taurus over here. These 2, and this also comes off your typewriter, and this also comes off the roulette wheel, okay? And this is how, what Taurus is when 3 meets and it makes the bullhorns and then the nose, the bullhorns and the nose, right? This one will be crossover on the cross, but this one is on an angle. See this angle over here? Why is it on an angle? Because I'm using these 2 as yellow. JK, 10 and 11 are both black. Although normally 9 is red, 10 should be black, 11 should be red again, not on the roulette table. 11 becomes black. So then we have upside down Taurus. 1, 2, 3. And then again, the angle here switches. And then we get 1, 2, 3, 4 more Tauruses. 4, 4, 4. 12, 1 on an angle over here. And where's the other one an angle? Yes, 1 over angle over here. And then, yes, the top angle, top and bottom angle. This is a cross and bottom angle with the yellow and these 2 in between. I also call them the 88s. They're all 88s. This is 888. This has to be 88 because it's this angle creating the X. And then we have the more often easier to look at. I did the same thing down here, easier. This is the way it sits. So A and C4 supports B2. C and E8 supports D4. 8 over 4 is half. 3 areas. E and G equaling to 12 over 6 F. G and A equaling to G and H. G, H, I. Sorry, this is G and I. G and I equals to 7, 9, 16, supporting 8. 8, 16, this is the flight of the Phoenix right here. A, C, C, E, E, G, H, and G, H, I. And anyways, I'm not going to continue on, but what I did here is, yeah, I'm in left field, right? Because I'm not explaining it. I repeated the C because it's on both sides, so I made it this way. So that's what I did. Sorry about that fall in depth. What I was working on here is all about taking out one letter. Take out the O, take out the O, take out the O, and take out the O. All these words support the O. So we're trying to find words and taking out letters and putting in other letters. Or putting in no letters, but I could put in other letters if I took out. The O is the 15th letter. I can now put in the 1 letter and the 5 letter and the 6 letter, but the 6 letter is right here. O, F, O, O, 3, 9. 6, 6, 3, 9. This is all about 3, 6, 9. 2, 5, 6. 6, 5, 5. New World Order in DC. DC, diameter, discomfort. Diameter, circumference. Rain, umbrella, holding up the purple rain because of the skies and the divided skies. 212, 414. What is that? That's exactly what happens on this dice cube in numbers, according to the face of the calculator. The numbers on the calculator. I'm not going to get into it right now. We know that there's 1 has 8 ghosts, 2 has 7 ghosts, 18, 27. The red aha, the red angel. 1 and 8 because there's 8 ghosts on the 1 dice. 7 and 8 is 15, 1 and 5 is 6, and 3, 3, 6 creation. 8, 2 is 10, 7, 1 is 8. 8 and 10, 10 becomes 16. 8, 16 equals the difference between day and night, the ghost, what you don't see. 5 is the change of heart. Sun is 54, moon is 57, 111. Top story of the Twin Towers, they'd be on the roof. The star would be 58, Mercury is 103. It's a mixture of 6. No, it's a mixture of Earth and Mars. Jupiter is 99. Every time you get a 9, you stay at 9. But when you get an 8, you keep going down. 8 and 8 is 16. 1 and 6 is 7. An 8 is 15. 1 and 5 is 6. An 8 is 23. 2 and 3 is 5. An 8 is 13. 1 and 3 is 4. So it keeps going down. But if you go 8, 8, 8, it's 24. 2 and 4 is 6. 8, 8 is 16, is 7. 8, 8, 8, 2 and 4 is 6. 8, 8, 8, 8, 24, 2 and 4 is 6. 8, 8, 8, 8, 32, 3 and 2 is 5. How do you play the numbers? Let's play ball. Everything has its own game, its own reality. Everything is relative because Einstein said so. Someone has to go in and look a little bit deeper. Piece by piece, scientifically, we tear everything apart. We put it back together in its own reality. What we understand is the reality that we bring it to, because that's who we are. We're realists. But for me, I just keep tearing it down until all the numbers talk to each other. And then I put the words in that they put in books and Bibles. And I put those together to understand, because our minds are just an extension of a higher computer. Hold on a second. I got to go online and check. Thank you for watching. Raphael 7286 in the House of Paint. Painting by numbers. And not to forget the floor. Thank you for watching this video.